Welcome to the Young and Adulting podcast, a place where we discuss real things in real time around faith and culture as a young adult today. So let's grab a cup of coffee and jump on in. Young Adulting podcast. We are back. Another episode with an episode 102.
102.
We're on our 102nd episode. And some of you are like, man, that's a lot of episodes. We're glad you're here. I don't know how you got here, but super glad you're here. My name is Tyler and hanging out with Lewis Hoffpower.
What's up?
Come on. It's going to be a great time today. If you've been with us for the last couple episodes, we just kind of relaunched after a season, about 10 months of not doing podcasts. And now we're coming to you every single week with some relevant subjects. We're talking about the weekend, talking about what God's doing in our church and on Tuesdays and then Thursdays. And many of you know Lewis. Lewis looks after our Gardens Young Adults here, the Gardens campus, if you're in Palm Beach County. And he is an Instagram influencer.
That's right.
He is an LSU football team lover.
Keep going.
He is a proud owner of a new home.
That's true. That's true. We're moving in on
this
Monday.
Week, and is the biggest hype man that you've ever met. So, man, where do we go from there? Where do we go? Was that all accurate?
That was all accurate. We are moving in on Monday, and which is quite a beast because Kalisa works with all the events of the church. So we've got Diesel Thursday, Diesel Friday.
What is Diesel for those who don't know?
Oh, it's the biggest men's event in South Florida. So that's what we're doing as a church. We're calling about 5,000 guys together at Port St. Lucie on Friday night.
Yep.
Palm Beach Gardens here on Thursday. That's where I'll be. It's going to be a blast. If you haven't got your tickets, you need to get your tickets. They're going to sell out. I probably shouldn't have even said that. By the time the podcast releases, they're likely sold out, but check online. Maybe.
Yeah, check online. Hoping the rain stays away.
Oh, my goodness.
Hoping the rain stays away. Absolutely. Well, is that a good introduction? I've never done like an intro for you, but anything else you would say to that?
Man of God. Mighty warrior, something like that.
Something like that. Awesome. Well, those things are true. So we have service this week. Young adults happen, 20s and 30s. We've been seeing some amazing things happening at Garden, specifically where you're at. And we always try to catalog and share stories about what's happening. There's been really special stuff happening on the weekend, stories. But off the top of the head, what are some really cool stories that you've been seeing happening in the young adults that you've been able to do life with?
Man, we've got a lot of really cool stuff. There's a young couple. They met a while ago, got connected to Christ Fellowship through Prep for Marriage. Went through that whole course. We met them during that season. Then they got connected to young adults after their wedding, and we got a text this week. They said, "We're loving it so much. My brother's moving down from somewhere up north.
Wow.
He came to a service. He loves it. He's going to keep on coming back." So it's cool to see people get connected and then inviting friends. Since I'm an Instagram influencer, got a DM yesterday. Hey, I want to invite a friend. Is this a good Tuesday? I'm like, every Tuesday's a good Tuesday. Yeah. So people are coming in and it's a blast.
Yeah.
What you guys doing on Tuesdays?
Yeah, it's been super fun. Well, we have an event called Wake Local coming up in a couple weeks, October 7th. So if you don't live in the area, maybe you can come be in the area, also be online. But when I think of people who like to build stuff, I'm not just talking about like construction. I don't know. Maybe you're decent at that. Maybe not. I don't know. When I think of like people who build, build things, build people, build teams, I think of you. And I don't know many people who do it better. And so you've challenged the team that serves with you to jump on early, to be a part of what's happening here. Talk about the response from, was it last week that you called the team to be a part?
It was just last week. This was fun. So we announced Wake, I think 2 weeks ago at our Goodbye Summer Party, which was incredible. If you were there, you know about it. This past Tuesday, we announced the Dream Team sign up. And I think Dream Team is the best way to experience an event like Wake, because we're trying to get everybody in.
Yep.
We're trying to open the doors as wide as possible to bring in as many people as possible so God can do all that he can do. And that's the impossible. So Wake Dream Team is when you get to be the one that's actually holding the door open and you get to be a part of the stories of life change. And then I've seen that people who have never served before, serving at Wake's an easy first step. It's one event. It's a hype event. You get some merch out of it. Like it's a blast. And so I'm a big believer in it. I'm a big believer that community happens best shoulder to shoulder, not just face to face.
Yeah, it's good.
And so I'd rather serve with somebody than show up and get coffee with somebody. Like I want to, like you said, build something together.
Yeah.
So Tuesday, I'm teaching the message, and I get up there. I said, I've got a faith prayer right now. I believe that by the end of the night, now we started the day with 0 people on the dream team because the link just went live. I said, by the end of the night, we could have 60 people on the dream team. You with me? In the room's like, we're with you. So I preach my heart out. At the end of the message, Kalisa and Nate come up, and Nate said, we've checked online. We've got the number. Give me a drum roll, please. Brrr. He said, we got 24 people on the dream team. I got up out of my seat, back up on platform. I said, yo, what happened to see? You said we were with, let's get it. Let's put the slide back on the screen. So we put it back up, challenged the room one more time. By the end of the night, we had 70 people. And today we've got 102 people signed up on this dream team. So those are 102 people that are saying, I'm in, I'm ready. We're going to build something significant together in just 1 month at Wake Local. So it's a whole lot of fun. And we had a fun time last week. I wonder what's going to happen this Tuesday.
Yeah, let's go. Who knows? Anything can happen. That's amazing. Is Frankie still out in the booth?
He is.
Come on, shout out to Frankie. God's doing so much in his life, part of the journey. Got baptized a couple weeks ago.
Frankie, revival nights, was that your first Connect to Christ fellowship? He came to revival nights. God moved powerfully in his life, and then he just kept on coming back. There's something powerful in that. Just keep coming back. Kept on coming back, got connected to Easter, and conference was right there. Started serving with everybody because relationships happen best shoulder to shoulder. So he starts serving, gives his life to Jesus, gets baptized. My man is locked in, got a brand new Bible this week, starting to read it some more. You already read the one that he had. Now he got another one. He's doing incredible things, and he's not just going to serve on the team at Wake this year. He's going to help lead the team at Wake. So
that's amazing.
I love Frankie. Man.
Amazing. Well, it's super fun what God's doing on Tuesdays, Thursdays in Young Adult Ministry. It's an exciting time to be in Young Adult Ministry, but we say this all the time, like, don't just come on Tuesdays. Don't go to just midweek stuff. And not come on Sunday. And Sunday is so vital to what we do. And literally this past Sunday, Coach brought a word, which he's just on another level. Like when I'm 80, I want to be kicking like he's kicking. I mean, preached 4 services, even stepped back in a suit, preaching about his grandpa's wisdom that he was passing to him, that he's passing on to us. And man, that's a vision for like longevity. Man, like I'm 32, so I'm like big bro to you. Okay, you're what, 27?
That's right.
27. Okay. But like, I want to be 70 and 80 and still going after it. You know, I want to love my wife faithfully. I want to love my children, be serving Jesus. And he's like an example of that. And I think one of the number one things that our generation needs are models and pictures of people who are running the race full of passion, integrity, and faithfulness, because that's like what matters. That's like heaven's math, if you will. And so I want to talk about Sunday's message. I want to talk about some of the things that he was walking us through on his book. If you haven't gotten this book, you need to get it. Grandpa's Wisdom, Unlocking the Secrets of a Victorious Life.
Let's go.
Come on, I want to live a victorious life. Can you open that for me and then go to page? I got a ear dog. Is that what it's called? Ear dog? Deer dog? No, not deer.
Dog ear.
Dog-eared.
Yeah,
it's dog-eared. So
67.
67.
6, 7.
67.
Yeah,
I think that's the page. Hold that there for a second. But this book is it's full of so much wisdom, and we're going to talk about some different people who have maybe impacted your life, my life. But there's a quote in there, I think on the right page, second down, that talks about kind of the way you do everything, holding yourself to another standard. Can you read that?
Yeah, Henry Ward Beecher. Hold yourself responsible for a higher standard than anyone else expects of you. Never excuse yourself.
I love that.
There is power in that.
Read that again. Read it again.
All right. One more time. Hold yourself responsible for a higher standard than anyone else expects of you. Never excuse yourself.
That's so good.
Let's go. I think that's we talk about like the inner critic inside of us that sometimes might try to beat us down, but what if that inner critic actually held us up to a higher standard than anybody else? Because somebody else might try to hold you to a standard and they're making that evaluation based off of what they can observe from you. You can hold yourself to a higher standard because you know you. You know the gifts that are inside of you. You know the passions inside of you. you know when you're giving 100% and you know when you're giving 98.
Yep.
And so, man, hold yourself to the highest possible standard.
I think
good stuff.
that's so good, especially when it comes to like the things of God, right? And so I think he said like, don't give yourself excuses. I think we're living in a day and age where we love to make excuses for what we're not doing and point the finger at other people and all of that kind of stuff. But when I sat under this teaching, right, he's talking about grandpa's wisdom. He's talking about excellence, integrity. Really what he was wrapping around was like wisdom. Yeah. Like we need the wisdom of God for these days. We live in 2025, which are like some weird, awkward, crazy, confusing. What do we make of it times? Like to be alive in this world, to be leading in this world, to be a young adult in this time, it's a lot more nuanced, I think, than even 50 years ago. It's a lot. I think he gave a quote that said something about the average person consumes more gigabytes of information than someone ever would have in their entire life in like the 70s. So you're talking about the things we're consuming, the things we're reading, whatever. Man, there's like a call for us to walk with the wise. So when you think about like your life, 27, chasing the call of God, trying to build something, like how vital is it in your life to have voices who've gone before you, who can offer wisdom?
I couldn't imagine trying to do life without those voices, because I am limited by my own experience of life. Meaning like my best expectation can only be based off of what I've seen in my own life. But whenever I get around people of faith or people who have gone before me, now I might not have seen a miracle in that area of my life before, but they have. So their faith could inspire my faith. I think that's why scripture says, let one generation declare to the next. And so I've tried to surround myself with people that are much older and much wiser than me, which means getting out of comfortable environments. It means going to meet at coffee at 6:30 in the morning, because that's when they're awake. All right, well let's go meet for coffee. I could list off a couple people, but my grandpa was a big influence in my life. In fact, on my wedding day, I used his wedding band.
Oh, that's special.
Because I'm trying to live life like him. I think that's a really cool goal. You put you said you want to be better at 70, better at 80. One of my like stakes in the ground is I want to be not just my kids' hero, but my grandkids' hero.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I don't even have kids yet. So I'm out there trying to set an example, not just for one generation, but I'm going to do two. And my goal in life is to live to 103 years old. I'll cross 3 different centuries. That'd be pretty cool. So I could do a couple generations down the road.
103.
Yeah, I was born in 98. So if I live to be 103, I'll get to the year 2100. 3 different centuries, 2 millenniums. What a resume.
That's amazing.
That would be something.
That's amazing.
But the important part about that would be, I hope I'd be able to influence people down the road and be my grandkids' hero. That's what I want to be. That's what Coach was. That's what his grandpa was to him. And I think that's what all of our goals should be. Let's think long-term in this.
100%. He also said on Sunday, he said, we are living in a generational blessing.
Yes.
And so I think that's super encouraging for me to go, like what I'm underneath, what I'm standing on and am underneath has like the favor and blessing of God, which requires me to carry my life in a certain way. And so even for those who are coming to our church, like you enter into a community where there's generational blessing in a corporate sense of the body of Christ, even if you haven't experienced blessing in your own life, a general blessing. They think the encouragement, especially a lot of young adults, if they didn't grow up in a healthy home, they didn't come from a Christian background, they don't have a mother and father in faith, they didn't grow up with what many of us grew up with, they can start now. They can draw that line in the sand, go, as for me in my house, we're going to serve the Lord. We're going to get into the house of God. We're going to serve. We're going to give. We're going to do all of the things that other generations have done, even if I'm not coming from that lineage. And so I love that opportunity of going, man, like what I'm a part of is bigger than the part I play, all of that. But like we're in a generational blessing. We're seeing things happen now that other generations paid for. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like they paid a price that many of us didn't pay to experience. And so there's like a stewardship, there's a fear of God, there's like a trembling at that of like, man, I don't want to squander that. Like I need the wisdom of God in my life on that. So.
Yeah. I was with a group of people Saturday. We're sitting there sharing our stories. And I instead of starting my story like, man, I grew up in church, I started my story like, well, back in the 50s, Grandpa didn't grow up in church,
Come on.
but found himself in a church. And so my story started 50 years before I started, because that's when the generational blessing started. And then like my ministry life or my Christ Fellowship story didn't start when I first walked into Christ Fellowship. It started in Coach's living room when they were faithful and they did their piece.
Yep.
And that built it to a place where I could walk in, like you're saying, and just enter straight into a blessing. And like we say all the time, if there's gaps in your biological family, the spiritual family will fill that. Some people don't have a grandpa to give them wisdom, or they don't want grandpa's wisdom.
Yep.
But the beautiful thing about the church is there's a spiritual grandpa that none of us have met.
Yep.
And it's Coach Tom's grandpa.
Yep, it's great.
And he's got a bunch of wisdom for us. So let's plug in the gaps with spiritual mothers and fathers and grandfathers and grandmothers and uncles and aunts and cousins. Let's do this as a spiritual family together, because this is the blessing that we have.
Yeah. You've talked about your grandmother a lot too.
Yeah.
Like what?
Grams.
Talk to me. Talk to me about her. Talk
Dude.
to me about how she's impacted your life.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna tell the story. I'm gonna bring you back to the 50s or 60s. Grandma and grandpa get married. Neither of them were walking with the Lord in that moment. And one Sunday morning, grandpa wakes up and grandma's getting ready for church. And he said, "What are you doing?" She said, "I'm getting ready for church." And he said, "You walk out that door, I'm gonna leave you." She just kind of looked at him and walked out the door, went to church. She came back. He was still there. They never brought it up the entire week. The next Sunday, grandma wakes up and grandpa's getting ready for church.
Come on, bro.
She said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm getting ready for church. You're going to be late. Let's go." And they walked into church, knelt at an altar in Bethany, Oklahoma, and gave their lives to Jesus. And that changed everything. They became a ministry couple.
How old? About how old?
They were our age.
Yep.
They're in their 20s,
Okay.
early 20s probably.
Don't miss that.
Yeah, early 20s. Immediately felt a call into ministry. They probably had some conversations like we're having about the call of God on their life. Felt a call to ministry. And in their context, what that looked like is they would go into a town without a church. They would move there, live there, build a church up to like 40, 50 people, and then move to the next town that didn't have a church. Move there, live there, build a church up to 60 people, and move out. They never pastored a big church. They never built anything larger than 60, 70 people. Their dream was, let's go in places that don't have churches. We're going to build a church and move on out. And grandma was she was the worship pastor and grandpa was the preaching pastor. And they did it as a team. And through that, she started to record a couple albums. And so she was doing this and releasing them in the 70s and the 80s.
Wow.
And got some influence in a very small little circle right there. What's very fun about that is about 2 years ago, we opened up a YouTube channel, Ann Baldwin Music, started to put her music up. She hasn't touched a microphone in years and immediately got 5,000 subscriptions. People just loved her music. And even today, she's moving around. We just celebrated her 93rd birthday, I believe. And she is a pastor to our family. Yeah. She's an influence to many people. And she's always got these little words of wisdom and encouragements. Yep. And she's using this next season of her life. We talked about it last week. She's using this next season of her life to be a visionary for her family and people that maybe have lost some vision on their own.
Yep.
She's coming at it from nearly a century of walking with Jesus. And she's saying, I know that you feel like there's nothing you can see right now. I've seen this many times before. God's got a plan for your life. And so she's got a phone call ministry. That's what it is. She'll call you up and encourage you. It's incredible.
Amazing. Bro, you might live to 103. That's some good genes there.
Yeah,
bro.
that's right, dude.
My grandpa passed at 93. He was amazing.
Wow.
Love the Lord.
Wow.
Through the decades. Yeah, I think it's
so
just so
what
important.
did that do to your family?
Yeah, I mean, I think it gives a foundation. You know, like I often I'm so aware that my starting place was not a lot of other people's starting places. Mm-hmm. And so there's a responsibility for that, but it just takes one decision to ripple generations.
Oh, absolutely.
And so like you're sitting in it, I'm sitting in it. My wife comes from a family where a line was drawn. And so the encouraging part of this is to those who have not come from spiritual heritage is they get to say what you said. I want to be my grandkids' hero because I have drawn a line in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
And one decision, I'm going to church, I'm going to be a part. See, it's changed everything. And also, you feel the weight of it, right? It's like,
Yes.
man, this isn't some solo life here. Like, I'm standing on the shoulders of those who've paved the way. And so, when we talk about people like your grandma, we talk about Coach Grandpa's wisdom of living a life of integrity, faithfulness, wisdom. He said, like, we live in a knowledge rich, but wisdom poor world.
What a line.
But that doesn't have to be us as the local church, because we have access to spiritual wisdom, not just in the word of God, but in the body of Christ who've lived decades after decades, and it's tested, tried, and true.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
And so we got tested, tried, and true wisdom that we're able to tap into. And so when we say, fellas, get to diesel, get around some guys, we're not just saying that just to pack a room.
Mm-mm.
You need lack of a better word, some gray hair in your life. You need some people who've got some skin in the game, of life, and
Right.
some things to offer. So, man, we could keep talking, but we need the wisdom. It's the encouragement, I think, for those who didn't come from a legacy of faith, is you can become one. You can start one, drawing the line in the sand.
Draw the line in the sand, man.
Get serious with Jesus. Take your life and the call of God on it seriously, and see what God will do through you. See what will come through. So exciting stuff. I do want to get to one question before we wrap it. For those of you who are listening, you can send in questions, and we'll cover them as we can. A handful of questions have come in that we haven't been able to address. I'm going to ask this question out of a list of 10, a little bit different. The question is this, Lewis: how to be a Christian in a toxic household with those who are far from God and are constantly judging you. That's like verbatim. So what do I do? How do I live as a Christian when I live in a toxic? So I don't come from a godly heritage. I've met Jesus, but I'm in a toxic environment and I feel like I don't know what to do.
I love that. I think that you probably would live your walk with Jesus the same as anybody else would. Circumstances will come and go, but the move of God in your life is going to be consistent all the way through. I'd bring you to the first chapter of John, where it says the light shines in the darkness and the darkness cannot overcome it. Whenever people touch Jesus that were unclean, they didn't make Jesus unclean. Let me use today's language. When people who were toxic touched Jesus, they didn't make Jesus toxic. Jesus made them clean.
That's great.
And so I think that you have a power inside of you. The same power that raised Jesus from the dead lives inside of you. I think you use every opportunity you can, every judgmental glance they give. I think the perspective shift you need to have is, man, God must love the people in your home so much that he put somebody in the house that's going to pray for him.
Yeah, that's great.
It could have been somebody that's going to judge back and curse back. But every judgmental glance they give is another opportunity for you to, Lord, I know they're judging me, but I bless them.
Come on.
And so I would shine the light and then play the long game.
Yep.
Talked about grandma and grandpa. Let me tell you about my uncle's father over there. He was 96 years old. Another one that went a long way, and his entire life rejected God.
Wow.
And so my uncle lived his whole life. He was saved as a young adult down in Miami.
Come on.
And lived his entire life praying for his dad. His dad didn't want God, atheist, didn't believe in God. Don't talk to me about this. I'm not going to church. I'm not even going to go to church on holidays. And at 96 years old, was baptized in a recliner.
Let's go.
Because he finally gave his life to Jesus. Friend, play the long game.
That's so good.
Don't try to give up if he doesn't come to Diesel this weekend. Don't try to give up if they don't go to Christmas. Play the long game with people and trust that the God who left heaven and died on a cross for your family is going to be willing to carry a cross with you to get them to the other side.
Come on. That's amazing. Mic drop moment. 96, bro. You got a shot.
I know.
You got a shot.
3 centuries.
You got
baby.
a shot at making 2,100, which is bonkers. Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, this has been fun. We could go on for a while, but time to shut it down, wrap it up. Those of you listening, we're so thankful for you. If we didn't get to a question and you have some questions on faith, culture, anything going on, send it in. We'd love to talk about it, pray with you. But if you're going to watch this and listen to this week, it's not too late. Get to church this Sunday. Group up with some people. We're believing that God has something special for you this week. Go after God's wisdom. Get around God's people. That's a wrap. We will see you back next week. Lewis, thanks so much. go Penn State.
It's a pleasure. We cannot end the podcast like that. Go Tigers and text YA team to 441-441.
Love you
Peace.
guys. See ya.